Porter.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we had a resident pass away this last month. Her name is Jackie of Lakeside Club Boulevard. So let's please have a moment of silence for her. May she rest in peace. Amen. Okay, Isabel, roll call, please.
Bill England.
Here.
Phil Shapano.
Here.
Scott Harris.
Here.
Ken Jerome.
Here.
John Fricker.
Here.
Mike Lehman.
Here.
Isabel Costanzo.
Proof of notice.
It was properly noticed.
Okay, and then we'll have the open forum now. Joleen Porter, please. And use the microphone, Joleen, please.
Yes, I will. I'll speak very softly.
Carry a
Okay.
big stick, right?
Yeah, right. So, we had the white elephant last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and we took the couch and the love seat and out of this clubhouse, and we were like all excited because we had a space to add some things or move some things. Since the 2 weeks since that happened, now we're hearing, oh no, we're going to get a new table and chairs and we're going to get a new bookshelf. We're like, no. That is not why we took this stuff out. We're trying to make it so that we can have more people in here, like we had last Friday night when we had 90 people and we had 12 people that sat out in the library. But if we keep adding back in, we're going to be right back where we were. We thought that space was going to stay open, so like the tables for the guys' cards, that's back there, we could move that down to this end and some other things so that we would have more room for things we need for the social club. I get it that the library is important, I get that. And I have no problem with the library. But there's a lot of books there that probably are more than doubles and triples that could disappear and never come back. Maybe we could have a book amnesty day when Beth has time. I'm not pushing Beth, but if Beth has some helpers and could find all the books that are doubles, and we could have an amnesty day, and you take the books and don't bring them back. And don't bring us any more, because that's what people do when people start coming back in the fall and in the winter. We get bags and bags and bags, and poor Beth's trying to find space for these books, and a lot of them are duplicates. So I think we need to think on that before we just arbitrarily put a bookshelf in the space that, you know, the social club kind of looked at and goes, oh, that would be nice, because then we'd have a little more room out there when we have our dinners and people can walk around, because it is difficult when we have the chairs all stacked up and all the tables and everything else. It's like the storage units out behind here, and it's difficult to do some of our stuff.
Okay,
Jolene, I took all the books myself. All the doubles are gone. She took all the doubles.
She took them all out, but I think there's some still that have come back that she might not know of, because people add to her bookshelf when she's not here, unfortunately.
She's every day.
All right, well, anyway, the bookshelves don't take that much room, but let's leave it up to Beth to determine what we need, okay? I think that would be appropriate, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think maybe if we sat down with her, because we have a couple of ideas that might help her.
You could do that.
You know, I mean, there's a few of us that we've got a few ideas that we'd like to help her.
That would be great.
So maybe we could just have a sit down with Beth and
Okay, good.
give her some of our ideas, that's all.
All right, great. Okay, so, thank you, Jolene. And thank you for using the microphone. Sharon Osborne, please.
I know you thought the
Oh,
same
you
thing.
did stop coloring your hair.
said that.
Like the Zossi thing.
Finally, he likes it, right?
I'm all right, Jolene.
Thank you for letting me address the board on the agenda item concerning the doors. You'll be happy to know I'm not here to talk about my personal preference about what color I want my door. Rather, I'm here more to talk about the process of the selection of the colors, which the board has our vote to be able to do.
Right.
I want to talk about process, and I'm going to talk about intent. In October, Scott Harris passed a motion saying that we should submit, that you guys should submit a proxy vote for community input to see what we want to do about the doors. And out of that, in fact, I can read it to you.
No, we have it.
But, okay, that's good. That you would select, out of those colors, you would select the colors, and then we would be able to select what color we wanted, our
That's correct.
individual doors,
Yes.
that's right. And then in December, by proxy vote, for, what was it, 161 to 78?
Yeah,
78,
It had
which is
to be
about a
two-thirds.
two-thirds, about the
That's
two, and it
correct,
was
right.
two-thirds, that we would do that.
right.
So now, a lot of us are hearing that, you know, well, the doors are gonna be all light gray.
Well, you didn't hear right.
And we're gonna be very good, thank you, well, that's what I'm here to thank
Okay,
you for,
good.
because I was sure that you would handle
And
this.
that's on the agenda tonight.
Thank you very
All right,
much, I
thank you.
appreciate that.
Michelle Camp?
Thank you one and all for your service, first and foremost. Last week, we had this big party, as Joleen was mentioning, with up to, I think 91 were going to be here, whether or not we were somewhere between 85 and 90.
It was 89.
89, thank you, Kenny, for knowing that. It was almost hellishly hot in here. And I know they don't like when we open the doors, etc., and you can only go so far with the AC. I would like to propose something for the committee to consider, the board to consider. Number one, a better AC unit, which I know there's a lot of expense to it, I understand, but I'm saying at some point we need to think about maybe upgrading our system, because most of our parties are full at 80 or more. And it is always warm in here, sometimes even when you only have 50. Let me finish and then you could talk.
All right.
Then,
Fine.
so that would be one thing, either for a new AC or what it would entail.
Right.
But the other thing is, I realize that if you open up these beautiful plantation shutters, those windows used to open, and maybe they still do. And if they aren't, if they're locked right now, maybe we can find a way of making it so they do open. So particularly during season, when your evenings are really nice, you could actually open those. Number one, you could also hear music out there, and people could dance out there instead of completely filling this place. But you also have air coming in. So you all have to work it out. I'm just making that,
Okay,
throwing that ball.
Is that it?
That's
Any more?
it. Nope, that's it, and that's, thank you.
Okay.
I just have one suggestion too. When you're gonna have the parties with a lot of people, come in early and crank the air down.
The air goes down at, when they're getting ready to decorate, trust me, you could set it at 70 and it is gonna be hot all night, so.
We couldn't
Okay, good.
open the doors the other night because it was too humid.
Yeah, it wouldn't have done you any good with the windows. But since the other night I was here, and we only have 4 fans. So I gave the authority to Eric to go ahead and purchase 6 more fans, 3 here and 3 there to move the air. Now I know there's always a problem with somebody that says, well, it's too cool, I don't like it on me. Well, you got a thing to shut it off if it's over your table. So we're gonna try that first. And if that doesn't work, we'll go ahead and look at air conditioning, so. But let's look at that first, okay? All right, thank you. All right, Pat Rickey.
First thing I want to do is thank you for our new refrigerator on behalf of the social club. Okay. You got a new one?
Did we tell you you were paying for it?
Okay, who's paying for it?
I'm only kidding.
Louder.
On behalf of the social club, I'm speaking on behalf of the social club. But I'm getting confused.
That's all right, take
I'm
your
always
time.
confused and talking, okay.
Not in the mic.
All right, this is being directed mainly tonight to the Thursday night poker players. On February 8th, we had the White Elephant sale. On February 6th, people were bringing things in. The girls priced them. They had the table set up. At the end of the night, everything was covered. And they had tape going around everything, so nobody could get into this stuff. We had stuff out there that was going for an auction, things that were still not priced. And you walk in the back door and you're gonna see, wow, this place is roped off. And it's been advertised for a month before that we were having this sale. So you walk in and you see everything out there, you know you can't use the clubhouse. But, and it was also announced that everything was canceled for the Thursday the 6th to Saturday the 8th in the clubhouse. But the poker players proceeded to come in and move things, broke a vase that was gonna be for the auction, did even pick up the pieces that were broken, the tape was knocked down, and I think it was very rude on their, and it just wasn't nice for what they did to us. It was inconsiderate, and I would just like, I spoke to John, I spoke to Ken about that, and I just think it was very rude and inconsiderate, and I think they should be reprimanded in some way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Ricky.
So back to following.
Were you on the poker? That's what I was.
I was one of the poker. Oh, that was good, yeah. I just have a friendly reminder, Monday afternoon is the retired old men's lunch, and it's gonna be at Beef O'Brady's this month, and it'll be 1:30 on Monday. Number 2, for Pine Ridge Day, the people that have volunteered to do the games and the registration and the cleanup and the breakdown. The sheets are
setup.
And you're in charge of the setup. I forgot. They're all posted on the board back there. You can go through and see where we got you slotted to do a game or whatever, and we'll all have a hell of a time.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, Tom Trevino.
I just wanted to give a quick thank you to all the board members and everybody here at Pine Ridge. Most of you probably know I finally got a kidney last November after 5 years. And you guys are just the greatest. I got so many cards and well wishes and prayers, and I want to thank you for your support and your prayers. And I'm a new man. I really appreciate everything. Thank you all.
Okay, great. Okay, reading and approval of the previous meeting's minutes.
Make a motion that we waive the reading of the minutes. They are posted online in the clubhouse.
Second motion. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Managers report.
So most of the items that I would report on tonight are going to be talked about either in the agenda or in the committee reports, but I do want to touch on a few things. Last month I let everybody know that Pamela had a baby boy named Levi. I spoke with her last week and she's doing very well. So she's had some late nights and lost sleep and that I didn't think that's normal.
Typical baby.
And he's a good baby boy. The community remains stable from a financial and aesthetic point of view. Getting a lot of compliments on the way the community looks. Painting continues. This is going to be discussed later on in the meeting. The janitor that we had working for us, Antonio, he doesn't work for us anymore.
Gee, I wonder
he just
why.
wasn't doing the job up to the standards that we need. We have 2 new guys working. Their names are Joseph and Anthony, and they're already getting a lot of compliments on the job that they're doing, so hopefully they can keep that up. About 7 years ago, we did a community directory with Life Touch Studios, where they come in and take everybody's picture, and then you get a printed directory with everybody's picture, and then if you participate, you also get a free 8x10 portrait, and you don't, unless you participate, you're not included in the directory. So we want to encourage everyone to participate. And it's going to be the last week of March we have booked, and this clubhouse will be like a photo studio. And they do try to sell you pictures and things like that, but you're not under no obligation to buy it. And it's supposed to be no pressure and that type of thing.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that, but the photographer takes you and shows you the stuff, and their pricing is less saw some of the pricing, it wasn't way out of line, but you're not required to buy anything. Just by coming, taking the photo, you include it in the directory, and you get a really nice 8x10, the photo comes out really nice. So we're gonna have some sign-up sheets up there, and we hope that everybody signs up. We'd like to get everybody in the community to do it. The farmer's market is back, there's a typo, it's Mondays and Thursdays.
Again.
We started working on the dock to repair some of the wood rot.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bill might talk about that in the amenities. Last year, the board authorized me to sell the lift with the cherry picker that we had. So this morning, I did that. We sold it for $8,000.
That's
And
good.
for point of reference, we paid $15,000 for it about 10 years ago. So we were able to get 8 out of it. That's pretty good.
That's not bad for 10 years. That's pretty good.
Starting to collect bids for 2020 roofing. We hope to get a minimum of 5 bids. Roof Frank's Roofing will be one of the companies that did it last time, but we want to get 5 bids and see where the chips fall. Other than these items, most of the other items will be on the agenda and the committee reports, so this is all I have to report.
Okay, good, thank you. Treasury report.
Okay, no news is good news. We ended the year in pretty good financial shape, which was what we were hoping for, because this year's budget depended on that, keeping the maintenance fee, so I'm happy.
Talk louder.
Oh, I'm sorry, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Okay, I want the mic on because I particularly want to thank Eric and the staff and the committees and the volunteers, because that's how we keep our costs down. And everybody that knows Eric knows that when something comes in for bid, he always manages to save us a lot of money. But it's the day-to-day work that people also do with the staff and the committees and the volunteers that has saved us so much money, and it really helps us out come the end of the year and then in the following year. One of the things we face is, and I'm going to say this a lot because I need to emphasize how important watching our money is, all of these vendors and contractors, they just automatically raise the rates 3% every year. It's arbitrary, and we kind of push back. And of course, what we try to do and what we're committed to doing is keeping our fees, what it costs us, as close to zero change as we can. So that's where a lot of work comes in, and we really do value your cooperation. If you read the year-end financial and income statement, it's going to look a little bit different than maybe what you're used to. There's new standards, and it's a global, international thing. But what drips down to us through all the accounting standards is our reserve funds are now listed as liabilities. And it's just a switch. It doesn't change anything in our fund balances. Basically, they're just saying we recognize this as contracted. You have we owe ourselves this money. Therefore, it's not really an asset that we can go out and spend. And it's always been that way. It's just another way of accounting for it. So it's just money that we owe ourselves, but you'll find that money in liabilities now. And when we spend it 18 years down the road, when we spend the money for new roofs, then it becomes revenue and assets. So that's that. Started mapping out next year's budget, and I'll be getting in contact with the budget committee, and as their schedules, we'll try to start next week or the week following to set our priorities for the reserve and the operating budget for next year. And as always, any of the financial documents are always available to you at the office. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Scott. The President's report. The painting is over 50% complete. As Eric said, Mario's is doing a very thorough job. They did a great job masking and cleaning up with a minimum of disruption. I have not heard of any negative issues from anyone.
No, they did a good job.
We had Banks Engineering survey our southern property line Saturday, 2/15/2020. That's what you see going around the lake and going through the south of our property. They staked out the southern end of the lake and our southern property line through Green Cypress. Right now, we have Bruce going around where you see those wooden stakes, putting in re-rod stakes and monuments, so it's more permanent, so nobody can remove it, and we know where our line is. Thankfully, the line is, at least we know we owned a lake, and that's what we're really concerned with, even though it might be up to the cap of the lake, all right? Also, we have a 25-foot easement that goes south of our line, which takes us over the path and into the grass that's south of there. So we needed this information so we can know if we need to take any action to protect our lake rights and privacy when or if Habitat for Humanity moves forward with any development. At this point, we have verified that we own the lake to the concrete cap on the southern end, and we have deeded shared easement for the south walkway path and into the grass. Our goal is to get exclusive easement on the southern path and insist on fencing or a wall. I love that wall to the south of us, with reasonable buffer between Pine Ridge and any development. Now, I had an article that I pulled out of the paper last Saturday, 2/9/2020. Maybe a lot of you people have read it. A lot of you people may not have, so we made that article available to you. And it's about Habitat for Humanity's new model. Now, I worked for Habitat in Michigan a lot, and up to what I know is they would always get distressed property or a land free from the city, and they would put a house on it, or they would rebuild a house, and then that's what they would sell to people at interest, no interest loans. But they do have a new model from this article. They just broke ground on 24 acres between Gladiolus Drive and Summerlin Road called Heritage Heights. They are building 150 units, 3 and 4 bedroom, single-family houses marketed to entry-level professionals, like teachers and police officers, with a salary of $37,000 per year. The price range on these units will be $180,000 to $200,000. So I don't think we're going to be looking at something that is really low income. Okay, now as of today, we had more information, and we found out that they have applied, and this was back in January, for a drainage permit. That's the first thing you have to do whenever you build anything. When I built my lanai, I had to get a drainage permit for my slab. So that's what they did. So we have the layout on that, and according to what I see, they're going to build 29 quads. That's 116 units and 75 single units for a total of 191. Now that's their proposal. I don't know if it changes or not. We're going to try to make a motion later on this, but at least from what we can see, is they're back from our easement with a fence or a wall as we can interpret it. And the area that's over to the west of us, that everybody calls a preserve, but it's actually lowlands, they're leaving that alone. And I think, did you leave this for everybody, Eric? Yes. Okay, so I think what we see is looks pretty positive to the impact that it's going to have on us. So that's what our goal is. We don't want to have anybody coming in here from over there. We want to have exclusive use of our lake and our path. So hopefully that's the way it will come. I can't promise that. We're going to try to get more information on that. Also, the last thing that I have on the agenda, there was a number of residents that cleaned up around the entrance fountain earlier this month. And I said, it's always great to see the community involvement and pride in Pine Ridge. We only ask that in the future, please talk to Eric or a member of the board to let them know what you would like to do so we can coordinate it with the respective committees. Okay, so please cooperate with us. And that's what I have for the President's report. Okay, committee's report. Who would like to go first? Should we start with Mike? And we'll go around the table.
I have no report.
Okay,
You got a good thing going.
okay. Isabel?
Yeah, I would like to talk about the bike racks.
Okay.
They're overcrowded. We have several people who left for the season, and they've covered bikes took up 2 spaces. In one area, the bicycles were put into a guest spot, taking away from, visitors. I think what we have to do is, when people leave for any length of time, they should put the bicycles in their unit. It would be good for them, leave them out there, they're rusty and whatnot. The covers fly off, making a mess. And I think that's what we need to do.
What if they're on the 3rd floor?
I think there's a lot.
No, you're out of order. You can comment later. Do you have anything else, Isabel?
No.
Okay, John?
As most of you know, last year we had the rules and regulations issued, and it was working pretty well. The only thing is, there's some things that need to be updated, and I'd like to have I'll say a goodly number of assistants to help with setting that up. So I'd like to do that early March or to mid-March. So if any of you would like to get involved, please contact me.
What, to type it out?
Beg your pardon?
Type it out? To
I'll do
type
that.
out the, oh,
I'll
okay.
do that.
Anything else, John?
That should do it.
Okay. Safety Committee meeting report. We had a safety meeting on February 10th. All the safety members were here, and we reviewed a number of items. Lighting enhancement project is complete. The last 2 work orders are in progress. All light poles will be numbered for future maintenance. That way, if you see something wrong, you've got a number to refer to if you write a work order or if we write a work order. Security monitoring for all units have been discussed and evaluated over the last few months. The Safety Committee is recommended that each unit owner can install on their front door monitoring cameras, example Ring, if they wish. Owners must have Wi-Fi to make equipment operable. We recommend equipment that will cost about $99. Owners should be able to install it themselves. If they cannot or they don't want to, we will recommend an installer to do the equipment. See the manager for the list. So this is going to cost you like about $99 if you install it yourself. If you have to have somebody install it for yourself, then it'll cost you a couple of extra bucks. But this solves the problem is some people don't want cameras on them. I think we have a lot of people around here that don't like that. We must have people in the program, you know?
You mean witness protection?
Yeah. All right, so residents continue to run the stop on Lakeside Club Boulevard and Sailview. You all heard about this before, every meeting. This has been a continual problem since the stop signs were installed, even with the continual appealing to the community by the Safety Committee. During the next month, and we're going to do it the next month and a half, we will do a thorough appeal through communications on Pine Ridge website, on mailings with your billings, bulletin boards in the clubhouse and mailbox. The Safety Committee will recommend installing rumble strips, both direction on Lakeside Club Boulevard immediately before stop signs if this appeal does not work. And I don't want any rumble strips. So what I would suggest to the whole community, if you see somebody doing it, be proactive, grab them, whatever you got to do, because I don't want to see those rumble strips. But I don't want to see somebody get killed out there. Residents with auto handicap stickers, you should remove the sticker when you drive in the car. Okay, that's a driving hazard for you, but it's also against the law. So I know a lot of people think that we'll just let it hang there, but you could have an accident you don't see out there, so please take note. Scam calls are constantly happening to everyone. Please be aware that Social Security and the IRS will never call you. Also be aware of your poor grandchild calling you with a big problem that you can solve with money. And we just got one of those the other day. Okay, that's all I have for the Safety Committee. This information for the ring was made available when you came in today, okay?
I don't have it now, but I have it on yesterday.
Okay, Scott, you already done yours?
No.
Oh, you did? Oh, all right, I'm sorry, yeah.
I'm a busy bee.
That's right.
Okay, landscape and website. We met yesterday, landscape committee. What the community would be interested in. We built up our stack of work orders. Eric went out and bought us a bunch of plants. The reason we do this is we got about 50 plants, good sized, nice plants, for $300. And that's why we do it that way.
That's a good
Because he can
deal.
go to TJ's and he gets a nice deal. So some of you have put in work orders, and if there's some plants, keep putting your work orders in. I want to tell you about this process, because when we get a stack, then we go. If you're first in the next stack, then you're going to wait a while for your plant. And if you're last in, then you're probably going to say to your neighbor who says, well, it's been weeks, and I put in my work order, and they go, gee, I don't understand, I got mine today. Well, that was because that person was the last one. Eric ran down and got a bunch of plants cheap and brought them in, and we started installing them. So it kind of helps that, don't be afraid to put your work orders in, and we'll get it, because when we get it at a good price, then we can afford to do it. And that's a good deal. A lot of things got in the way as they do. We didn't go to the butterfly nursery. We're going to do that Friday morning. We'll pick up some plants. We're going to try to see if we can get some granular fertilizer too, because it hasn't happened, and Shannon has suggested that, well, let's you and I do it. We're going to spread some granular fertilizer on the bougainvillea on the far side of the lake, because that seems to be about the only thing that they respond to. They just limp over there, but it's been noticed when they get a little time-release fertilizer and then some moisture, then they show some more growth. And then Eric's going to get us a pallet of mulch, and we're going to spot some of the new plants and some of the plants that need it to hold the moisture in. Okay, there's something else, but we're taking too long. Website. Myers and Brett Holes, our accountants, have switched over their IT systems and all of that. It's called Sync, and the program comes with website capability for their associations. They're beginning to implement that. It's going to be a portal where you can manage your business with the association and the accountants. But it also has other capabilities. As soon as they land with how it's all working, we'll see what they can take on board as far as what we post on our website that can be taken onto their system, and then whatever's left over, then we'll keep them on our website. Communities, I didn't bring the paper with me, over a certain size are all required by state statute to now have a website. So
really?
Should be March. That's what they told me. We can make ours look a little bit better. That's a problem. Things are always getting in the way. But I think it'll be a better system because you'll be able to do more business on it as far as checking on the administrative details of living in the great Pine Ridge community. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Phil?
Nothing.
Phil?
Nothing.
Bill and Bill.
Bill and Bill.
Bill and Bill.
Oh, it's my turn. We had our first meeting of the Lake and Amenities Committee meeting on the 13th. And we had 4 agenda items, which we talked about was the lake report, dock repairs, bocce ball court repairs, and a discussion of additional bocce ball courts. And the test results we got back on the lake were good, except for the orthophosphorus, and this is caused by bird feces and the grass fertilizer and so forth that we put out. The overflow from that running into the lake. And this causes the algae that we see in there now. And we've talked with the Dr. Del Vega out at the lab that does our reports for us, and he's agreed to come out this summer when the water temperature gets back up and test the oxygen content to see exactly how good our water is for the stability of our fish life.
And our
So we're not
turtles.
gonna put any more fish in there till we make sure that the oxygen content is good enough for them. The dock repairs, as Eric had mentioned a while ago, is still continuing. They replaced a number of the boards out there, and as soon as they get all that done, they're gonna be painting those. The bocce ball court repair was completed. And I think today someone mentioned about putting some extra stands out there for when they step up on the bocce ball court so they don't fall. So I think Bruce is gonna look at doing that. Cost of those repairs were about $1,500. Also, we discussed the addition of 2 bocce ball courts. The cost of this would be between $7,000 and $10,000 to build those 2 courts. The regulation size of court is, which is 13 by 91 feet. These would be built side by side at the shuffleboard courts with approval of the board and the villa owners in the area. A separate committee, including bocce ball players, would need to be put together to see if there really is a need for the 2 additional courts. We had an open discussion after that. We talked about the pool chairs. They are continued to be repaired and returned to the pool area. There's some pavers around the spa that has to be replaced due to them being loose. Additional, adding an addition of a couple of horseshoe pits. Someone had mentioned talking about those and putting those out here on the side. Doing an upgrade in the men's restroom, replace the old wooden stalls in there that looks like they come out of Sonny's pit barbecue.
I haven't been in there, so I don't know.
So if anybody's been in there, we do need some work in there.
It's only
And
fair.
this will probably be a sore spot for somebody, purchasing additional book shelving and 2 chairs to put in the area here. This is created by the removal of the old couches. But you gotta remember that the library is the 2nd most used amenity next to the pool. So it may not seem like a lot of use of doing that, but those bookshelves only take up about 18 inches of space and they'd be down the walls. So, personally, I think that's a good thing to do. And they had a mention of a couple of places in the walk path that needed repair out along Sailview, and we looked into those. And also to purchase a battery leaf blower for the courts, bocce ball and the shuffleboard courts, so that make it a little easier about taking care of
They
those.
have one. We gave it to them.
Yeah, but it's not battery. They make it.
It is battery. Yes, it is.
Guys,
Oh, they bought one? Okay, so you don't need one then. That was brought up in the meeting, so we didn't know, okay. And that's all I had.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Oh, the next meeting we'll have will be the 2nd Thursday in March at 2 o'clock.
Okay, great. All right, the open forum is gonna be at the end, it's just a misprint. So now we're gonna go to old business. And we're gonna discuss door colors. Now, let me read this to you, just so everybody understands. In 2018, we took a vote that passed by 1% that the board would offer a choice of front door colors. The colors were to be chosen by the board and could not go outside the specific hues of the color. That's what we defined. The board is presenting you with a choice of 3 colors: white, light gray, and dark blue. Samples of the colors are right here. So,
Boring.
well, I mean, you know, we don't want chartreuse.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So anyway,
No pink.
do I have a motion that we accept these 3 colors
Yes.
from the board?
Yes, that's only logical.
Anybody?
make a motion, we accept those colors.
I like them.
Second it?
I'd like to second that.
Any discussion? Okay, my discussion is, we looked at many colors, and we decided these were the less of all the evils. So we wanted to give everybody a choice. That's what they wanted. They wanted some type of a thing that make them stand up. I'm sorry it's not gonna
I
make
want
everybody
resale value, 'cause I'm
satisfied,
selling
but it's
soon.
more than just getting a white door.
We went to Sherwin-Williams has color experts, our painters who paint condos all over the place. We went to all the experts. We cannot choose red and green and yellow doors. It would not be, the board would not be doing its fiduciary duty for your property values. You might like your door that color, but overall, it's not gonna help you in your property values.
Anybody else on discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, it passes. So, how are we gonna communicate that?
We're gonna have some meetings where people can come in and sign up for what color that they want. I'll post what time the meetings are gonna be. We'll have some morning meetings and some afternoon meetings over the next few days, so everybody will have time to come in and do it.
the way it is.
And if they're not able to, they can call us and tell us what color they want.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion of Southern Border Survey. We went over that in the President's report. And what I would like to do is make a motion that we approach Habitat for Humanity to discuss their plans and our goals. So we make sure that we get what we want before it's too late. So, do I have a motion to second it? That we go to Habitat for Humanity.
I second that motion.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, anything other such business? Then we have a few items on here. Huh? Yeah. The golf carts, our fleet of golf carts, like we had said earlier, are getting shabby. A couple of them are broken beyond repair. Should we use the proceeds from the sale of the lift, as well as money from the lift heavy equipment replacement reserve fund to purchase 2 new golf carts? One that will seat 4 and one with the utility bed for maintenance. So do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we buy the 2 new golf carts.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
Yeah, short, just a short bit, Ken. Since we've sold the lift, we don't need the lift replacement reserve fund.
Okay.
But we're going to have to formally redesignate that fund so that we can use it for equipment.
Well, do you want to make the motion after we do this?
Yeah, after we do this, then we
Okay.
can do that.
That's fine. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Wait a minute,
Oh, I'm sorry, you have a, I'm sorry.
more discussion.
All right, that's good.
One of those 2 units gonna have a trailer hitch on it, and are we gonna need a trailer hitch to tow anything around?
Isn't that what he
We
said?
haven't really been using a trailer hitch. We used to use the trailer hitch to tow the lift, but we can put one on the utility cart.
If we need it.
They cost about $40 because I put them on mine at home, so it shouldn't be a problem. Any other discussion?
John and I went and looked at some of these carts. John, there.
John.
They can do just about anything, right?
That's right.
No idea. Okay, any other discussion?
Just the thing about the door colors. About if you have someone that doesn't come in and say what color door they want, if you're gonna go to a white door then?
That's correct. That's the default color. Okay, anything else on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we redesignate the reserve fund line item lift replacement to equipment replacement for the purposes of
Say that again. Motion
Okay.
to redesignate.
Well, this kind of got sprung on me, but
All right, that's fine.
we can't spend the money unless we
I'm just
change
trying to
it.
write it down.
We're renaming the line item lift replacement to equipment replacement in the common reserves.
to equipment replacement.
Yes.
Okay. That's your motion, right?
That's my motion.
I second the motion. Any discussion?
Yeah, is there a budget line item for equipment repairs also separate from that?
Yeah, I do have a repair, but that's an operating. That's an operating. This is a reserve and it would be locked up. You know, we don't have a lip, but now we've got a locked up fund of money that
Right.
we could only spend on lip replacement unless we formally change
Seems a
it.
little bit.
Yep, that's correct.
Any other discussion?
Money to play with that you could use.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so, is there anything else before we go to the open forum that I missed? Okay. Open forum discussion. Raise your hand and come up. Okay, let's go. Over there. Come on up to the mic. Didn't I just see you a couple of minutes ago?
Yeah. Oh, people don't know what's coming up. That's why. So there should
We
be,
haven't been doing it. Huh?
there should be an electric blower at the bocce court and the shuffleboard court every week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that the social club purchased last year. If it's not there, talk to Bob he's not here. Ron Hufferman. Because that's whose condo it is in, because we couldn't lock it. Because we had nowhere to lock it. Because there's not room in our shed to put it out here and be locked. And this one out here doesn't lock. So he said, can I keep it there? And I said yes. And I had his personal okay to, if we needed to, go in his condo and get it when he's not here. But if someone else wants to store it and has the room in their villa, which I don't have a villa, so I'm not storing it, where it can be locked up, I have no problem it getting moved.
Can you bring it out here and let's put it in the clubhouse and put the batteries on charge?
Where do you want to put it?
If you'll bring it in here, we'll find a
Well,
place for it.
you have to see Ron Hufferman. I work full time, so I only know Ron Hufferman to see him. I'm not going to run to his house. Maybe somebody on one of the social shuffleboard could.
I think it's a social club issue. So maybe you guys can work it out, please. Is that reasonable?
That's reasonable.
All right.
Another question. Eric came to my condo, and I told him what color I wanted my door. I have a blue piece of tape on my door. Is that enough, or do I need to come down?
No, he's going to sign everybody up.
So I need to come back down and sign up?
Yeah, they want documentation.
So we're going to have a night sign up then?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll accommodate you, Joleen.
Well, I mean, you guys will do stuff at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't get home until 4.
Well, it's not my fault that you don't work at the high school.
Well, you want people to do stuff, but you've got some of us that are working full
We'll
time.
accommodate you.
I already know it.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, you're saying, oh, we'll come to this committee meeting. What time was your committee meeting, Bill? 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't get home till 4. Period.
Well, we try to
I mean, come on. You want some of the younger ones to help you, but we're working right now.
I think it's the...
Thank you.
Jolene, I think it's the responsibility of whoever's the chairman of the committees to
I know that, but
to
he's
try
here all
to...
the time. Couldn't he
Just
do
a
a night
minute.
meeting?
Yeah, I don't
It was his
disagree.
first meeting.
Like for instance, I accommodated Donna because I knew Monday was off. You were off Monday. So
we
you
made
were
it to
available.
Monday.
That was the first meeting that we had.
But you understand what I'm saying. Where my frustration is when we purchase something and someone tells me, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it," and then I'm hearing, "Oh, well, we're going to buy one." And I'm like, "Why are we buying what we already have? We already paid for it once."
Seems like everyone has good intentions here, so it's just a matter of organization.
Well, and that's
I didn't know you had one.
and I know that, and I understand that because it's you wouldn't know.
I think the intention is the same for us to have.
There's other people here that did know.
But Jolene, did you let your chairman of your committee know that you weren't available until after school? Because that's your
My
responsibility.
group knows I'm not available.
Okay,
We don't
good.
meet until we
All right,
meet
good.
when it's appropriate for
All
me.
right, good. Okay, who else? Okay.
I'm glad I'm not involved in social play.
Hi, first of all, I wanted to thank the board for all the work that they're doing. Being a new condo owner, I would request that when you go around and do your committee reports, make sure you say what committee you're representing, and if you're passed, what is the committee that you're passing on, just so that I can kind of correlate information. Okay? And then,
I don't understand your question.
well,
We
like
do
you-
say safety committee.
I didn't hear it all the
Yeah, we
time.
did.
We need
No.
to speak.
Not everyone did.
No, I paid attention, you did, not you did, you were very
No,
clear.
but he said landscape committee.
He did,
He passed.
but I wanna know what he passed on,
Oh,
what
all right.
committee he
So we'll do
represented.
that in a minute.
Yeah, that's all.
Architectural
What
review.
committee, yeah, you know, I wanna put names to the
Yeah.
committees, just for my
Okay,
benefit.
good.
And then, the bike concern, I also wanted to point out, I totally agree with you. I think another issue is that people pass away, move away, and their bikes are left here.
We
And-
cleaned out some of those.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, so anyway, that needs to be addressed, because it kind of makes the place look trashy too, having old rusted bikes. And then, do you know what the logistics will be for the door painting? I mean, will they have to open the door, we have to be home, things like that, or will that be discussed at a future meeting?
I'll have to talk to the painter about the process.
You don't know yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine it'll be similar to how they do it when they paint, they'll put the notice up. You know how the notice goes up?
I just didn't know if they'd have to
Gotta
open the
open the
door.
door.
Yeah, probably.
But here you
Well,
gotta
yeah.
open the door, whereas when you
Get it
paint
right.
it,
If
you
you decide to
didn't.
change the color, they'll probably have to open the door.
Yeah.
You keep the same
I
color.
would think, yeah. Okay, and then could I just pose another comment that's not related? Okay.
Guys, please.
Come on, people!
Could the board look into possibly playing the music out there till 9 o'clock at night? I know I've talked to it, no, everybody says no. I know they said because the people living right next door, but the pumps are louder than the music.
Well, I'm sorry,
Okay.
we'll leave it
So
at
it's
the way
not
it is.
discussed, okay.
Okay, just a matter of information. When we have a committee meeting, we post it 3 days in advance so everybody knows. And everybody can come to it as a guest. You don't have to be invited. It's posted, come if you wish, okay? Okay.
I swore I would not come up here tonight, but I missed you all. I missed you all. I didn't think I'd come up here. I want to go back to something I have.
Your name?
I want to go back to something that I have talked about before, and it's communication. And when you post down here, if you're not here or you're unable to come here, you do not know when these meetings are happening.
You want the
And so
Do you go to your mailbox?
no, I don't. as
Well,
a
that's
matter
where
of
it's.
She was out of town, is what she said.
Yeah.
If you're out of town or you're not here, you have no way of knowing. And I would like to entertain, it sounds, Scott, like maybe you're gonna be working on it, that we look at better communication other than the bulletin boards that not everybody can get to notify about these
On the
meetings.
website.
Like next door, I know that's not there, but the
On
website.
the website, we have the online calendar.
Yep.
And Pamela and then Ally's been doing a really good job. We try to mirror that online calendar to the big calendar.
Okay.
So if you look at that, you'll be able to see, but that's on our Pine Ridge website, that's not
Right.
next, we don't
No.
moderate next door.
I understand that, but I don't think everybody's gets on there, and, you know, I've heard.
Right, but they have it's available 24/7 too, though.
No, I meant, I don't believe all of your committee meetings always get on there.
Most of them do, unless it's a last minute
Right,
one, yeah.
right. Hence why I've said and asked for a long time, if we could do anything to improve communications or institute an email messaging kind of thing, just to keep looking at that. We're kind of beyond paper and writing on the board.
Well, we're not beyond paper because a lot of people don't have computers in this place, so we do have to have it posted on the boards, on the mailboxes.
I agree with that.
And also we'll do it on the computer.
That would be wonderful,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're just careful with not wanting to send out too many emails. I know I get a million of them a day, so they mean more when you send them out when they're important. So
Right.
that's why, I see if you can report next Tuesday that.
But we could do
doesn't
some better
necessarily-
communication.
Yeah.
I think we do an excellent job. We can do a little bit more. And I'm willing to help if I know the meeting.
Okay, who else, please? Yes? Pat?
Just want to mention about the picture taking for the directory. When we had it done a few years ago, like a lot of us old people that had our pictures and stuff done, like you said, when you go and you say you only want the one picture, they did not pressure us at all. Because I heard a lot of groans from people, but they don't pressure you. They were really, really good. So like, do it, guys, do it. It's fun.
Yeah, we want to have a comprehensive directory, and they really are a first-class group. And it's a neat, new type of directory. It's not going to be the same as what we had last time.
The other thing, when they did the directory last time, is when my mom was still alive, but we came and it's like, there's no way they're going to sell me a picture. We'll be in the directory, leave us alone. And it was like, that's a really good picture. So, yeah, we ended up getting some. So
If you could do something
I'm kind of glad
picture,
now I did.
I'll
But
get
they
it.
do a good job. But no, they don't pay because they walk you right through. They print you up and take your picture and they show you the pictures that they took. You pick the one you like for the directory. And if you want pictures, they just have a table with the catalog. So.
And you do get one
Shannon?
no matter what.
My picture's coming.
It's coming from me.
No, I nailed you yesterday. Three things. Can you mention the numbers on the garages? And two, are you also going to do the women's bathroom? Because you only mentioned the men's, and people are wanting to know if the women are going to get attention to. And then the third thing is...
What about the numbers? What are you talking about tonight?
He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, could you share it with everybody?
I had my friend who's a paramedic drive through here. There was some current concern about the address numbers and the buildings not be adequately addressed. And he took a ride through, and he's an ambulance driver, and he said that we are as good or better than most, like the 90% of the communities. So the one place we can improve is the landscapers cutting down where sometimes it covers up the numbers. But that's the main thing. Other than that, we are A-okay is basically what he told me.
Okay, what else you got, Shannon?
Are they going to do the women's bathroom too?
The women's bathroom's a lot nicer than the men. It's like a different ballgame, but
You guys,
It's bad.
Wait
It's
a minute.
bad.
You guys just got new toilets.
I'm just asking, because we have the same Sunny's bathroom. Okay, because the men don't know what the women and the women don't know what the men.
What kind of stalls do you
Well, I
have?
know
Do
what they
you
vote.
have the wooden stalls?
I know what they vote.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
question.
bad.
Are you going to be fairly and equally looking at the women's bathroom as much as the men's?
We always fairly equal.
I guess he is now.
Yeah, better
How come he
make that
turned all shades of
refocus.
red? Look at his face.
Because I said turlet.
And my third thing, I was
Charlie?
trying to just say them quick so I could go sit down and you guys could talk about them, but thirdly, and it might be a good idea, I know communities where you have to register your bike if you're going to store it in the bike stand, because if people leave, we have nothing. When I was a kid, we used to register our bike with the fire, or with the police department, and they gave us a registered number, or a tag on our bike.
doesn't work
so
anymore.
that you know whose bike is whose. And if you register the bikes and they're not registered, then it might solve the problem of, but that's just an option.
Well, does the county register bicycles?
No.
No.
Our city did it. Our city.
Well, yeah, in Kalamazoo we do that also.
Yeah, in Michigan, the city does it. I'm just saying, we
They
could
did that
get,
in
we
New
could
York.
get tags
They
that
did
go
that
on
in
the
New York
bike.
about 50 years ago.
And if they're not registered, then they get shipped out, or if they die, then we know they died.
Hopefully they don't, though.
That's funny.
Another thing about the amenities, it might be a good idea, I don't know if the president of the social club goes to the amenity meeting, but it might be a good idea to have the president of the social club involved in the amenities committee meeting, because they're the ones that have a lot of access to some of that other information that you don't. I would also recommend that out by the shuffleboard, there is a cabinet that all the shuttles and all the stuff is stored in. That might be something that you might look into for the pickleball.
Okay, good.
For the water.
Okay, step right up.
Just some point of information about the doors. They have to be open to paint them.
That's correct.
Yes.
So they're gonna do them dead last, April, May, after people are gonna be gone.
No,
I
they
don't
want
know.
to start to do them.
That's what they told me.
They want to start to
Yeah,
do them.
because
as
I
soon
know,
as
because told I them. just had to paint
Well,
my
they'll
door
do what we
because they
tell
ended
them.
up with a
They'll
white
do what
gray
we
streak
tell
around the whole
them.
thing.
He'll direct them.
Whatever, I'm just
They're
telling you.
begging me to paint doors. I don't know what color to tell them to paint them until tonight.
Okay, because you'll have to have them open, they have to stay open.
That's correct.
But they're not trying to wait till dead last. They're dead last because we don't know what color, we don't know what color.
Well, a lot of people won't be here, I don't think they want the condo open and the door left open for 2 hours while it dries.
What I'm saying is we're gonna start
It's
painting
gonna take more
doors
than that.
starting tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
Not necessarily.
All right, anybody else? Let's go. Burn it daylight. Guys,
I
please.
feel like the garage is over there in the village.
I just want to say thank you to the people that worked so hard on the front entranceway. They did a great job.
They did a nice job.
We've only been talking about fixing that for like 2 years, so I really think we owe them appreciation.
Okay.
Hello. You were discussing the people not stopping at Sailview.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there any way that cameras could be put there? Just like we have,
Does anyone,
like we have outside by the, the gate when we come in, there's a camera. Is there any way that a camera could be put there? Is it feasible? And you could see the license plate?
you want to address that?
Anything can be done, but so, I can tell you the license plates of the people who run the stop sign, that's not gonna help us,
Okay.
you know. I
You
mean,
can't cite
We
them.
can just stand up there and watch, you write down the license plate.
So nothing
It's
could
very
be done
easy.
anyway.
Well, those people are not going to stop unless we put a speed control device in front of them.
Okay.
So,
Your sticker, don't let them through the gate.
Who said that?
you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
we don't want to put a traffic control device in place, so we're asking everyone to please stop.
Okay, all right, I just was, wondering if there was anything that could
But
be
yeah, of course,
done.
anything can be done, we can videotape everything, but videotape is just videotape.
Just a video.
Just gonna do it, but I can't read, so.
Like I said earlier, we have to put a lot of peer pressure on these people that are doing it. And that'll get it done more than anything.
No, could we get them tickets, actually?
I don't think we want to give them tickets. We could just get their get their license plate number, stop, whatever you want to do, and we'll talk to them.
People.
Just a minute, I didn't call you yet. All right, go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, so,
Normal Michelle.
oh,
She forgot.
All right, let's go.
anyway, so I thought years ago, and maybe I'm wrong, but I thought years ago when the Rules and Regulation Committee and all this stuff, they had certain fines. So if you're saying you even know who these people are, and I'm not saying give them tickets, but can we, if someone chronically does this,
could
can
fine
there
them.
not be some kind of fine associated with it?
Yeah, we
Put a
can find,
notice up.
we can find them, but the fines are not,
You're not
it's
gonna
just not
get the money.
effective. The number one problem in every community
Make it a
is
damn good
speed.
fine.
Well, we can find them
We
$100.
can't because of the law.
Yeah, it's gotta be worth their while to stop.
Anybody else? Did I get everybody? Anybody on the board? Okay. Dismissed.
It's about time.
Alex.